Hey, what's up guys? It's Corey here with Dapper Dollars, and today we're going to talk about how Palantir is following in Tesla's footsteps to create a social following for the massive success that is coming. You ready? Let's get started. So this channel is all about using the online income opportunities like Merch by Amazon and Etsy to build our income online and then invest this income in things like the stock market and real estate. If that sounds like something you're interested in, like and subscribe, and let's get started. So Tesla is definitely famous for the amount of following that they had online before they even got real popular outside of in the automotive industry, and for the fact that Elon Musk himself is an original character that is incredibly smart, a little bit scary, but very entertaining overall. And these are the things that really made Tesla a great thing to get behind as far as creating a social movement for change. Tesla was amazing is still amazing at creating social movements that inspire change, that get people behind the company to buy the products and to invest in the company further into the future. So, how is Palantir going to do this, and what steps can they follow in Tesla's footsteps to make themselves a social giant and create a social movement to get people behind them and to push the company forward into the heights of success? And hopefully the share price that Tesla is as well. Well, let's look at a few things that Elon did right. Elon went into an industry where he wanted to be a massive disruptor in a massive industry. The automotive industry in the United States and across the world is definitely a behemoth of an operation ruled by a few companies that are Ford, Chevy, maybe Volvo, and Toyota and Honda. These are the biggest players in this space. Yes, there are luxury brands like Mercedes and Ferraris and Lamborghinis and Bugattis and all that stuff. But if you look at the mass general population of vehicles in the world, it is definitely those few companies. And Elon Musk wanted to get into that space and disrupt this space and do something completely different from what these people were doing. It is a very much Henry Ford situation where Henry Ford said, if I did what everybody wanted me to do, I would have made faster horses. Instead, Henry Ford went and made the automobile and completely changed the game as far as how transportation worked. In the same way, Elon is changing the game as far as how electric power is used, what it can power, and how the automotive industry works as a whole. So Elon was a massive disruptor, and like we said, Elon was also is a figure that is very focused or very able to capture people's attention and to direct change only with just a few, words on Twitter. So anyway, these are some of the things that Elon has done tremendously well. Tesla as well has done an amazing job at creating a social movement to get in the electric space, and they jumped on the bandwagon of, if not got the bandwagon started, of electric power instead of fossil fuels in the future. So how is Palantir going to use this information, and what is Palantir doing that is right now following in the steps of Tesla to create a movement with a powerful following for the change of stuff in the future? So how Palantir is disrupting the current statuses of the bigger companies in the world is that they are reorganizing and restructuring how data should be distributed, namely in the way that people have access to their data. Because right now, Facebook and Google are the main providers and holders of all of this data. Because if you want access to any of this data, you're going to have to pay for it, and you really don't get to have as much data is available out there to you with just buying these ads from Facebook and Google. Because again, those are how those companies make their money. And whenever you do an ad through Facebook, you are basically you're paying to have access to the data that's already there, and then you get some sort of profit from having the ads run, and then you see what the data was as far as how people converted, what people were interested in, what people were interested in that wanted to buy from you, the gender specifics, the life situations, and everything like that. And Facebook is also collecting that data as well. Whenever you run an ad, the data is not just available to you, but it is available to Facebook as well. So Facebook is getting free information from people who are paying to have access to their customers. And so the data collection that Facebook is doing is enormous, and the same thing is happening with Google as well. So you're paying to have a small amount of data collected. Facebook is charging you to have access to that data as well. It's a pretty genius system when you think about it. However, it is not fair to us, the consumer, and this is where Palantir steps in, because Palantir is one of those companies, or is the only company, that is allowing the access and the possession of this data to be held within the company that is looking for it. Because Palantir, like we have gone over in the past, has offered for the rest of this year that they are going to offer the ability to join Palantir for free, have Palantir's data collection run for them, and they would then be able to hold onto the rest of their data for the rest of their life. And this would be great because for companies, data is the key to success. It is the only thing that is really going to give you any sort of idea of how you should move forward in this world, because everything right now is run off of how do we know how to sell to people and what can we do to best optimize our business moving forward. If you don't use data to do these things, you are falling behind, and I think everybody in the world would agree with that. So that is where Palantir is differing, or how Palantir is following in Tesla's footsteps. They're taking on the giants of Facebook and Google and looking to disrupt that status quo and bring everything into a bit of a, giving power back to the little guy kind of mentality. They are wanting to put the power and the data back in the hands of the business owners who are, using that data and will utilize that data to use a progressive end to it. They will not just hold on to this data and charge people for it. Instead, they will use it to grow their businesses, and they should have access to it because it is their business. So anyway, that's how Palantir is disrupting those spaces. And the CEO of Palantir, Alex Karp, has done a pretty great job of creating a social following. If you have looked on subreddits at all, you know that Palantir has an official subreddit there, and it is a great mixture of Palantir fanboys and stock market enthusiasts. And these two combinations of people are incredible because you have the stock fanboys of Palantir, and they are heavily invested in Palantir, number one, because they want the financial success of this company, because their financial success is tied to it as well. And the Palantir data fanboys are a group of people, and they are the ones who are interested in the data aspect of Palantir and the securing of their personal data, the ability to block Facebook and Google from their personal lives and have autonomy with their data and not have to worry about the oppression of having ads sold to them all the time and basically their lives being duplicated online so that Facebook and Google could do whatever they need to work their way further into your lives. So, and with all of this, it's the massive integration of the digital world and the physical world that's happening. And Palantir is doing a great job of, putting these or siloing the data into one spot for the person that it is meant for, and not allowing it to be touched by other, outside influences, whether it's a government or a business. So these are great things that Palantir is doing, and the social following that they're creating through these subreddits and through Twitter is incredible because they are able to reach and resonate with so many people online, and these people who are following Palantir, who are vested in Palantir, like we said, are financially invested, and it is a social movement that people are very aware of and very passionate about, so that this creates Palantir as one of these saviors of what could be a very real issue, or is a very real issue, but could be a very real source for change in the future. So Palantir is definitely following in that step as well, where the CEO, Alex Karp, is someone who is leading a change for the betterment of society, just like Elon Musk is leading the change for betterment of society through the reducing of fossil fuels and the prioritization of efficient automation as the automobile is concerned. So there is also the benefit of being the potential villain, because with all of this power comes an amazing amount of responsibility, and most people know that. Whenever they look at Elon Musk, they see that Elon Musk has a tremendous amount of potential power that he wields. Alex Karp, very much the same. With Alex Karp, he has access to all of this data, and he could very much pull a Mark Zuckerberg, because Zuckerberg created Facebook as an online platform where people come to talk, and they get to know each other, and they build a social life online. and you get to connect with people you might not get to see very often. And how Facebook started was that it was basically going to be a telephone line. They were not responsible for what was said over that telephone line. They were just the vehicle of communication between you and someone else. However, we have definitely seen recently that Facebook and other social media companies like this are very much involved in how things are said or how things are distributed and what people are allowed to say. They are not so much the telephone line anymore as much as the person listening in on the call and just hitting the mute button every now and then on stuff they don't like and boosting stuff that they do like. So with this, it is very important for us to realize that Alex Karp is a potential villain the same way that Elon Musk is a potential villain as well. Elon Musk could charge people for the ability to use Tesla's features in the future and to continue to be able to use the automation feature whenever you're doing autonomous driving. So in these ways, it could very well lead to a bad situation for Tesla, not nearly as bad as what Facebook is, because Facebook is, the communication of people across the world and how people receive information. Alex Karp could definitely be that villain with access to all of this data. So with all of this said, it is a great thing because you see that Palantir has the potential to create the social following that Tesla did, to create a movement that is, centered around a company that is a source for change and could potentially drive this stock to the moon, but could also be a villain in the future. We're just going to have to wait and see. But I think that everything that we've seen recently about Palantir, all of this information is justified, and I can't wait to see what Palantir does next. I think that the amount of information that they're making available to people, whether it's on the local business level, the government level, the NHS, all of these things have been beneficial by Palantir, and so I just can't wait to see what they do next. And hopefully they don't decide to go the way of Darth Vader and, really screw everybody. I think the stock right now is pretty undervalued. Right now I think that Palantir has a, potential $1 trillion market cap ahead of them in the future through the ability, like I said, of offering their services to local businesses in the future. And if you want to hear any of my opinions on Alex Karp and the Palantir future that I think is going to happen, I'll link to those here. But again, I am not a professional stock advisor. I am just a guy on YouTube. This is my personal opinion. And all of this is for entertainment purposes only. So before you make any financial decisions about your future, make sure to consult a professional financial advisor. But I hope you guys have a great weekend and a great rest of the week. And remember, someone is going to do something amazing every day, guys. Why not you? See ya.